This conference will now be recorded.
Hello students, welcome to TeenEinstein biology classes. In the sixth chapter, Respiration in Organism, here we are learning about why do we respire. We are learning about the respiration in organisms. So why do we respire? What is the necessity of that respiration? That's the first topic we have already discussed. And breathing, what is breathing and how do we breathe? What do we breathe out? Breathing in other animals, breathing underwater. Do plants also respire? These are the main contents of this chapter about what we are discussing in this chapter. And here we said respiration is an important process, right? See, this is a special feature or a characteristic feature of living organism, and we are learning about respiration. Why do we respire, or what is the necessity of respire? We said we need energy, right? We have already learned this. We need energy for living. So this energy is getting released through respiration. So the release of energy, that is through respiration. See, in our body, everything is connected. All the processes are connected, right? See, digestion. Digestion is happening, and food, whatever is digested, that will be converted. During digestion, the complex forms are getting converted into simple forms, which our body can utilize. And next is the role of respiration. Through respiration, this glucose or starch is getting converted into glucose form, right? So that glucose is utilized, and that forms the energy, or that is releasing energy. While breaking down of that glucose, that energy release is happening, right? And we said next, circulatory system, which supplies, see, the nutrients are supplied to each and every cell by the circulatory system. And respiration, what respiration is doing here, in respiration, that energy release is taking place. So we know that respiration is very important, and that gives energy, right? So the food has stored energy, and this stored energy is getting released during respiration. So the stored energy is getting released. Release of that energy is happening during respiration. So all the organism will respire to get energy from the food, right? And we know that the air which we are taking in, or which we are breathing, that is having oxygen, right? The air which contains oxygen. And here we said the process of breaking down of food in the cell, which is releasing the energy. So in the cell, each and every cell, this breaking down of food, which is helping to release the energy, is happening, and that in cellular level it is taking place. So that is called as cellular respiration. Cellular respiration, right? And here the cellular respiration, or inside the cell, it is happening two times, two ways. Which are the two ways? Aerobic respiration or anaerobic respiration, right? Here in aerobic respiration, glucose in the presence of oxygen, it is getting converted into carbon dioxide and water, and energy is getting released. But in the case of anaerobic respiration, here glucose, anaerobic means without or in the absence of oxygen, it is taking place. There it is getting converted into carbon dioxide plus alcohol, okay, and it is releasing energy. So we can say an example like yeast, normal organisms which will do aerobic respiration. Example, aerobic respiration, human, we can say, and other animals. But anaerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration that you can see in some kind of organisms like yeast. So these are utilized to make wine and beer. Then we said sometimes during heavy work, muscle cramps will happen. Why? What is the reason? Not always. In human beings, we are saying sometimes during heavy work that muscle cramps will happen while running, while cycling, or while doing heavy exercise, and all it will happen. So what is happening there? See, if you're doing a heavy work, there more energy demand is there, right? Energy demand is more energy demand is there. So to supply that, more respiration should be there. Respiration in the sense oxygen supply should be there, then only their aerobic respiration will take place, right? So for oxygen supply, more oxygen supply, breath rate, that breathing rate will be more, right? Will take breath many times, right? But still it is not sufficient to meet the demand of oxygen, or the requirement of oxygen which is required during a heavy work. Okay, so what will happen there? So to meet the energy demand there in muscles, anaerobic respiration will take place in muscles. So anaerobic respiration in the muscles means their glucose is getting converted. In the absence of oxygen, it is taking place. So their lactic acid is forming. Lactic acid is getting formed and energy is getting released. So during a heavy work, due to this lactic acid accumulation of lactic acid, here lactic acid plus energy release is there, so energy is getting there, but here this lactic acid will accumulate in muscles. So due to that accumulation, what is happening? Pain, muscle cramps will start, right? Then after giving a hot water bath or massage, hot water bath or massage will get a relief from this pain, because there further the other processes, complete breakdown is happening, and then carbon dioxide and water forms from this lactic acid. So there lactic acid accumulation, due to that that muscle cramps are happening, and if you are giving a hot water bath or massage, that lactic acid will get converted into carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so that's a solution. Next, we learned about breathing. So during heavy work, this is what we said, lactic acid accumulation. Then breathing means we are taking in air, we are taking in which is rich in oxygen. Okay, taking in air which is rich in oxygen. Then how we are taking in? With the help of respiratory organs. With the help of respiratory organs, breathing in the oxygen rich air, this is called as inhalation. Then breathing out, or giving out or taking out the uh, air which is rich in carbon dioxide. That is carbon dioxide, oxide rich air will that will move out. This is called as exhalation. Okay, so inhaling plus exhaling, that is calculated as one breath. One inhale plus one exhale together called as one breath. Okay, so like that, breath, how many breaths you can take per minute? That is called as breath rate. And the normal breath rate, that is around 15 to 18 times per minute. Okay, And we can check the breath holding capacity also, how long you can hold your breath, because that depends upon the lung capacity of each person. Okay, so holding breath, that is inhale the air which is rich in oxygen, hold it for some time. So this depends upon the lung capacity. Lung capacity, in the sense we can say how long you can hold the breath, and how long you can hold that, and the volume of air which you can keep inside your lungs. So that depends upon the lung capacity. Okay, so based on that, one activity is there in your book which you can from that you can make out um, like holding capacity, breath holding capacity you can make out. And not only that, normal breath rate you can calculate, and after a heavy work or somewhat speed walking or running, after that and little more speed you can increase, and you can check. And at rest, what is the breath rate, everything you can check, and you can compare all this. Average studies you can conduct. So on an average, we said adult human being at rest, they can breath in and out 15 to 18 times per minute. Okay, and during heavy exercise, one person can do 25 times, up to 25 times, up to 25 times they can take a breath. Okay, and sometimes we'll take deep breath, right? So, while doing yoga, pranayama and all, we used to take deep breath. So that time we are inhaling more air, so that air will supply you more percentage of oxygen. A deep breath if you are taking, that is supplying more oxygen, right? So that will give more energy, release of energy will be more in that case, right? Then how do we breathe? See, we'll breathe. How it is happening? See, we'll inhale air, it passes through the nostrils into the nasal cavity, and from nasal cavity the air passes, or the air reaches here through the nasal cavity. It will pass and it will reach where it will by ribs. And you can see a large muscular sheath at the floor of the chest cavity, which is called as the diaphragm. So breathing involves the movement of the diaphragm and the ribs. Okay, so during inhalation, what is happening here in the inhalation? You can see here, inhalation means, inhalation here, first picture shows the inhalation, ribs will move up, right? Up and outward, ribs will move up and outward. Okay, so air is coming inside, air is drawn inside through nasal cavity, air is passing to inside. So if you want to take more air, your lung volume should be more, right? It should not be congested. So what will happen here? Ribs will move outward and upward. Then what is happening to diaphragm? See, this diaphragm, this is a normal position of diaphragm, just covering the floor portion of the lungs. So that diaphragm should move down. Diaphragm moves down, because if this diaphragm is moving down this much space, it will give, right? So that plays also, that and all helping to increase the lung volume, right? So here during inhalation, ribs move up and outward and diaphragm moves down. This movement increases the space in our chest cavity and air can rush into the lungs. Okay, so lungs here, it is getting filled with air. And what is happening during exhalation? Exhalation, exact opposite, ribs will move down and inward, diaphragm moves up to the former position, and that reduces the size of the chest cavity, and air is pushed out of lung. Right. See, chest cavity size is reducing, lung size is reducing, so air will be pushed out of the lungs. So this is what is happening here during breath. Okay, the mechanism of breathing in human being, what is happening to the ribs, how the movement of ribs it is taking place, and how diaphragm is moving. Okay, during inhalation and exhalation. Next, we said what is sneezing. See, there are some hairs in the nasal cavity. So while taking breath or while taking air inside, some types of unwanted particles which are present, like dust particles and all, that will get stuck into the nasal hairs, and that will create irritation. Sometimes these particles may get, or they'll make irritation in the lining of the nasal cavity. So as a result of that irritation, our body will respond to that to take that irritating particle out. Our body will respond in the way of sneezing. So during sneezing, that foreign particles will come out. Okay, so you should take care while sneezing. You should cover your nose to keep those particles or the droplets which are coming, the foreign particles or which whatever it is coming from your nasal cavity. Okay, you should cover with a tissue or uh, kerchief. So in that way you should do. Next is the measuring the chest size. We said the rib movement. Okay, this is an activity which you can easily do. So this is to check the rib movement and the chest size. So all those things, the effect of breathing on chest size of with your classmates or with your friends you can do, or among your family members you can do this. And next we said about the model to show the mechanism of breathing with some Y-shaped tube, which is acting like, here it is mentioning the trachea and bronchi, and a bell-shaped jar which shows the chest cavity, and two balloons which is placing in which we can keep in the place of lungs. And here to show the diaphragm, you should cut the down portion and you should cover the down portion of that cavity, that jar, with a sheath, stretchable sheath. Okay, so like that you can demonstrate, make a model to show the mechanism of breathing, and how lungs are expanding, or chest cavity, what is happening to chest cavity, how lungs are expanding and when it is filled with air, and how it is shrinking when the air is going out. That you can demonstrate very easily. Then next we need to say about what we breathe out. Okay, so up to this, everything is clear about respiration. Now we said how we are mechanism of breathing we have learned. Now, while breathing, what do we breathe out? That we need to learn. Breathing in oxygen rich air, right? So while breathing, what is coming outside? What we are breathing out? See here, to explain that, first you need to conduct an experiment. You have to take a clean test tube. Okay, in the picture, it's very clear. You can take a clean test tube first. That is a slender, clean test tube you need to take, or you can take a plastic bottle. It should be clear, then only it will be visible. So a glass or plastic bottle also you can take. Then make a hole. Make a hole in its lid. Okay. Then you can fix that and pour some freshly prepared lime water in the test tube. Pour fresh lime water. lime water in test tube. Okay, so here you can see the test tube which is containing lime water. And this is a tube which we are asking, and here on this, if you want, you can close with the lid, and on lid you can fix this tube. Okay, see, this is the inserted plastic straw through that hole on the lid. On the lid, you are making a hole, and through that, you are inserting a plastic straw you can fix, and that should be dipped in the lime water. Okay, now we can see very clearly in this picture. First, you are taking a transparent bottle, glass bottle or plastic bottle or a test tube. Then you're filling that with that tube should be very clean, and fill that with the lime water. Then you're closing that with a lid and make a hole on that lid and fix the lid first. Then insert a straw which is dipping in that lime water. Now you can blow gently through the straw few times. Okay, blow through that straw. Okay, through that straw you can blow. And can you see any change after blowing several times? Can you see any change? Is there any change? Yes, there you can observe a change. Okay, that lime water, see, what is this lime water actually? This lime water, let me explain the change first. That lime water turns milky. Lime water turns into a milky solution, right? This is the change what you can observe there. What is that, or why it is changing into this color? That's a question. Okay, see here, what is this lime water? Do you have any idea what is lime water? Lime water is a calcium hydroxide. Okay, calcium solution it is. Okay, so this, when this person is blowing inside, during exhalation, that air, we said inhaling air is rich in oxygen, and exhaling air, that will be rich in exhaling air, that is rich in carbon dioxide, right? It is rich in carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide is produced during what? During cellular respiration. We wrote one equation, cellular respiration. Do you remember what and all is getting produced? Glucose. During respiration, in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen, what is happening there? It is producing carbon dioxide plus water in the case of aerobic respiration, or alcohol in the case of anaerobic respiration, plus energy release is happening, right? Okay, but here you can see during cellular respiration, carbon dioxide is getting produced. So that carbon dioxide should come out. Okay, that also should come out. Energy is getting released, water is also, then carbon dioxide is also getting released there, right? So here this carbon dioxide is present in the exhaled air, and that reacts with the lime water. Then the lime water turns milky. Okay, here we said the air which we breathe in and breathe out, that is not purely oxygen. Whether it is breathing in or breathing out, this is not pure oxygen. Okay, it's not pure oxygen or not pure carbon dioxide. So as everybody knows, our body and the cells inside that require more oxygen to respire and to perform the regular activities that need energy. So this oxygen which we are respiring, and that is performing regular functions. And from our environment, we are not getting only the oxygen supply. exclusive supply of oxygen is not there, right? So in a similar way, while breathing out, what we are giving, that carbon dioxide whichever is coming, so the mix of gases, right, exclusively give out carbon dioxide, breathing out the carbon dioxide which is a byproduct or which is produced during the cellular respiration, right? So inhaled air, see the gas, we know our atmosphere, that is a mixture of atmospheric air, that is a mixture, which and all gases are present. Nitrogen is there, which is more in percentage, which is having more percentage, right? The majority is nitrogen. Then oxygen is there, then other gases, then argon, carbon dioxide, all are there. So during respiration process, total composition of air, what we breathe in, that also depends our surrounding. See, depending upon the surrounding environment, if you are living in an industrial area or which is somewhat nitrogen releasing area, or they are producing more nitrogen in that area, the composition may change, right? So that inhaled air, depending upon the surrounding, see underwater dives and all, we will say that inhaled air, that inhaling air that is containing more oxygen or helium, like, right? So like that, see, because underwater diving, if you are going for that, we need more oxygen supply, because from water we cannot take oxygen, so we are going with oxygen supply, right? That cases I'm saying. So here the gases what we are breathing out, see, just stand in front of a mirror, then you breathe out. Okay, then you can see a film of moisture which is appearing on the mirror surface. So have you ever thought about what is happening there, or why the water droplets are coming? So the air which we are taking inside, it is the same air which is coming out. See, we mentioned the air which we are breathing in, that is containing water, right? Or water vapor we can say. So the thin film of moisture which is appearing on the mirror surface when we are breathing out, that is because of the water vapor which is present in the air. Okay, so when we exhale, the composition of the air remains almost the same whatever we are inhaling, because and here the only change is percentage of carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide percentage and the oxygen percentage, that changes, right? So the amount, because oxygen which we took inside, that is utilized there, and carbon dioxide is produced there as a product of that, or as a result of that respiration. Okay, so the amount of inhaled air that is containing, inhaled air will be having 21 percentage of oxygen and 0.04 percentage of carbon dioxide. Okay, but the air whatever we are breathing out, exhaled air, there you can see 16.4 percentage of oxygen and 4.4 percentage of carbon dioxide. That's the change. Okay, because cells there, the cells are utilizing this oxygen, and there as a result of the cellular respiration, carbon dioxide is getting produced. So the percentage of carbon dioxide is more while breathing out. Okay, next, we need to learn about the breathing in other animals. So just like human beings, animals also breathe. Other animals also breathe. Right. So breathing, what do you mean by breathing? That inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. Breathing means inhaling oxygen, exhaling carbon dioxide. Right. So we know that few organisms have lungs in their chest cavity, which is helping them to breathe, right? So some organisms Which are the organisms with this lungs, like elephant, lion, cow, goat, frogs, lizard, snake, human being? All these have lungs in their chest cavity. Like human being, they also have lungs in their chest cavity. What about the organism with lungs? You can see cow, then frog, snake, human, all these are having lungs in their chest cavity. Other animals are there without the lungs. Okay, so other organism without lungs, how they'll breathe, or whether they have a lung like structure like human being? So that is the question here. So respiration in other organism, those who doesn't have a lung like structure, how it is happening? See, so many organisms are there in some insects, like cockroach, earthworm. In all those, you cannot see a lung like structure. So let's see one by one how they are respiring. So this is a normal cockroach. You can see the segmented body, right? Body is segmented. So in cockroach, respiration occurs through small holes, spiracles, we can say spiracles, a small opening on the sides of body. Small opening on sides of body. Clear? So in cockroach, respiration occurs through spiracles, a small opening on the sides of its body, and when air through this external opening, air is entering, that enters into the respiratory system, and this spiracle that serve as a muscular wall which is helping to the internal respiratory system. Okay, so the respiratory organ of cockroach, that is called as, or that is referred as trachea. Okay, trachea. So here the through spiracle, the small opening, air enters, then it is reaching to the tracheal system or the tracheal region, which is helping for respiration. And trachea, that is an array of network. What is trachea? Trachea, that's a network like arrangement. That's a network like arrangement or network of air tubes which is found in the internal system. Okay, and this trachea, they're also called to balance the pressure which is inside the system. See, when oxygen rich air enters to the body of cockroach through this spherical or the small openings on the sides of the body, that that air diffuses into different tissues and different cells, right? So it is the air through spiracle, it is entering inside the body and it is getting diffused to the different cells of the body or different tissues of the body, right? And here the oxygen is getting utilized to the tracheal network of air tube, to that it is getting diffused, and their oxygen is getting utilized to release the energy, and the carbon dioxide rich air is passing out. Okay, and that is moving outside again through the spiracles, it is moving out. Okay, so this is the breathing process in cockroach. What about the earthworm? See, you know that, have you ever touched earthworm? So here, while touching the earthworm, you can see the skin of the earthworm, you feel like a moisture condition it will be having, right? A moist condition, or it will be slimy and wet condition, right? In earthworm, you can see, you can feel the skin in a moist condition and it will be slimy, right? So it's a slimy creature, and the reason behind their moisture skin is that earthworms breathing organ is their skin. Earthworm that is breathing through skin. Okay, the breathing organ is skin, and air can easily pass through the skin of an earthworm, and the exchange of gases usually takes place through the moist skin and capillaries. So exchange of gas, moist skin and capillaries. That is there comes the gaseous exchange. Okay. So in these regions, the oxygen gas is picked up by hemoglobin, which is dissolved, which is present in the blood, and carbon dioxide will get released out. So earthworm is breathing through their skin. Okay, and same like this frog also can utilize the skin for breathing. So they have one pair lungs also. When it is inside water, it will use the cutaneous or this breathing through skin. See, the breathing through skin, that is called as cutaneous respiration. So that is done by frog when it is in water, and when it is on land, it will use the pair of lungs to perform respiration, and through their skin also they can breathe. Okay, next comes the breathing underwater. So here, breathing underwater, um, just imagine about one human being. Can we breathe, or we can take breath underwater? So there are many organisms which are living in water. So organisms like fish living in water, they have no other option and they have to utilize the oxygen from water. So there are many organisms which live in water. So how they are breathing? Fish, that is one organism which is living in water. How they are or which is their breathing organ, or how they are doing that breathing? Through gills, right? Gills are the projections of skin, which are the projections of skin, right? And how these gills are helping in breathing? Gills, all these gills are supplied with blood vessels. Okay, blood vessels are present. So that is helping for the gaseous exchange, or the exchange of gases. It is happening through the blood vessels, and gills, through gills it is doing the breathing process. Which one? Fish. Next question comes here, whether plants also respire or not. See, you know that this is the root hair from plant, and this is the soil particle. Okay, so like all other living organism, plants also respire. Plants, they are also doing respiration. Okay, plants are also doing respiration, and that is very important for their survival, and they take oxygen from there. So how they are getting? They don't have specific organ. Oxygen from air they are taking, and they'll give out carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, right? So in the cells, oxygen is used to break down glucose into carbon dioxide and water, like in the other organisms, how they are releasing energy. In plants also same thing it is happening. So In plants, each part can independently take part in this oxygen, or they can take in oxygen from the air and they can give out the carbon dioxide. Okay. So here, plant leaf, we have already learned about plants, right? So in plant leaf, on that you can see tiny pores which are called as stomata, through which air can enter. So there, the stomata for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide and through stomata, oxygen entry and carbon dioxide coming out, both are happening through that stomata. But each and every part of plant can take the oxygen. It can absorb oxygen, like through other parts also they can take oxygen. See, like all other living organisms or all other living cells or organism, plant cells also can do this. So the root cells also need oxygen, which are under the soil, right? So root cells also need oxygen to release energy. And how roots will take up? Roots take up the air from the spaces which are present. Here you can see this is a soil particle. So in between soil particle, this root hair is moving. So here the spaces you can see in between the soil particles. So from the air spaces which are present in the soil particle, root hairs are absorbing oxygen or the air. Okay, so that's how roots absorb air from the soil. And but leaf part, stomata is present. Through stomata, gaseous exchange is taking place. Okay, so plants also respire. So these are the main contents of this chapter. Now we have learned uh, respiration in different organisms, like different um, organisms like cockroach, earthworm, then fish, then how the underwater breathing is taking place, and how plants are respiring. All those things we have learned. And the gas which we are breathing out, or the gas which we are breathing in, the composition of inhaled and exhaled air we have learned. And here the experiment to prove what do we breathe out, that experiment also we have learned. Okay, so that's all about that. Next class we will learn about the question and answers and the activities from this chapter. Thank you.